Hello from my dark, scary garden. I have a message coming to me right now, and I wanted to try to talk about it. And it is essentially about the archetype of the shapeshifter. And being a Gemini, I'm like, listen, let's talk about this. And outside of spiritual, astrological, mystical, whatever, this is also a psychological thing to me and sociological. But essentially, the shapeshifter. I feel like in our world, we see being inconsistent human beings, right? We see being inconsistent as a bad thing when it is not bad in all contexts. Obviously, if you're working towards something, if you have a goal, if you're really wanting something and that is the goal, then consistency in that context, showing up and doing, the same thing, showing up in a way that is consistent is beneficial. But it's all about what you're wanting and what your intention in life actually is. And that is not the intention for everyone. Not everybody is designed or wants to show up as this consistent thing. It can actually feel very robotic for a lot of people. And I think we're realizing this more and more. We see our world where we love to put people in boxes. We love to put people in boxes because it makes them predictable and it makes them easier to control, right? When we can predict someone's behavior, or when we can convince somebody that they are this thing and that their personhood lies within the boundaries of these certain limitations or this box, they're easier to control and predict, and they're actually easier to manipulate. But somebody who is a shapeshifter and who embodies the archetype of the shapeshifter well is not easy to control because they're not predictable. And because they can show up in so many ways, they are like an anomaly to the system, essentially. And I realize that this is an archetype that I really strongly embody and has actually made me feel like I don't belong, and has made me feel like I'm wrong, or has made me feel guilty or ashamed of myself in society. I'm literally being attacked by so many mosquitoes. See, I'm being attacked. We get attacked for this. I've been attacked for this. Where it's like, I have the capability to show up as so many different things, so many different sort of people, or what others might classify as personalities, in different contexts. Because, so for me, in early life, this was like a coping mechanism, right? I would show up as different things, in different contexts as like a people pleaser, to please other people, to make other people feel comfortable, depending on what that person, I was very empathetic, could read other people's emotions really well through like hypervigilance. But what I find that as I've done healing, and as and that was also always seen by other people too, they're like, why can't you just be yourself? Like, why can't you just be confident in who you are? Why do you change yourself for other people? And that would make me feel bad. But now I actually see it as my greatest superpower in a healed sense, because when it was unconscious, it was people pleasing. But now that it's conscious, it actually allows me to move through so many different environments and situations and people in a way where I'm actually able to embody so many different things that I'm able to have like more experiences, I think, than what I would if I were just that one person in that one box. I've actually learned so many different skills. I've learned so many different people and how to read so many different people. And I have learned how to navigate and act in certain situations for beneficial outcomes. Now, does that sound manipulative? Absolutely. And it is manipulative in a way. We all manipulate as humans to get our way and to persuade, because that's just what we do as humans psychologically. But the difference is it manipulative in an unconscious way, or is it manipulative in a conscious way in which you're literally manipulating yourself as a conscious being to embody something that is beneficial, not only for yourself, but also for others in a lot of contexts as well. So, for example, like me, when dealing with narcissists. So as an empathetic person, as a people pleaser, I naturally have attracted a lot of narcissistic people. in my life, into my field, and have dealt with them. And these people have manipulated me. These people have treated me poorly. These people have wanted me to stay predictable as well. And I would create myself into a version of myself that was safe for them so that I could stay comfortable, and would not be hurt by them. But then, as I realized I was in narcissistic abuse, especially the last round of it I went through, which I'm going to say was the final round, because I am now, I don't think that's ever going to happen again. What I had to see in myself is that, like, to survive and get out of the situation, I had to intelligently shape myself into a person that the narcissist could not predict. Somebody that could show up in ways that were not reactive to the narcissist's charms or ploys, but as somebody who could outsmart them in a way where I was able to change and respond based on how I wanted to. Not based on how I was being led to react, but how I wanted to in the moment. And really, to me, this is actually the epitome of spiritual enlightenment in a lot of ways, is realizing that you are just the consciousness, you are just the awareness, and the personality, the person, the way you move through the world, and all of the constructs you have about yourself are all just surface. It's all just surface stuff, and it's changeable. It's not fixed. Now, some things are a lot more fixed than others, but what I'm saying here is essentially, basically, I want to challenge this notion that being someone who's a shapeshifter, or who has many faces, or who has the ability to change who they are in contextual situations, like depending on context, is not a bad thing in all contexts. In a lot of contexts, it can be a destructive thing because the person is unconsciously doing it, or they're doing it for selfish, egoic reasons. But for someone to be able to shapeshift or manipulate in a way that is conscious and in a way that is aligned and centered with who they are in the context they are in, is actually, to me, a very high form of intelligence. And I respect people who can do it. And it makes you like an anomaly. It makes you very unpredictable to people who want to manipulate and control you. And if you're able to do it in a way where you're not abusing it, and you're using it as a way to, like, have autonomy and sovereignty and uplift yourself, and like live in your like dharma, in your truth, and also to help others to do the same, like, this is a superpower to me. I feel like I've seen this thing about like super empaths, and I really, to me, the word empath, but it's true. Empaths are a very real thing, and do suffer a lot of abuse because of dealing with the shadow of the empath, which is like what Carl Jung, I think, said. The shadow of the empath is like the narcissist. And so you end up dealing with that because it's your shadow. But once you reclaim that part of yourself consciously, it's like you're able to use it consciously, which is powerful. And then you can embody truth. And the truth, to me, is like, we are multifaceted. We are not one thing. We are not stuck in one box. And it's like a rebellion against the system to be able to fit so many boxes. And clearly the system we live in does not work the way that most people would like it to work now. And it only benefits certain people. So to me, it's like, if you have multifaceted if you have multiple skills, or like you're a jack of all trades, or you have multiple different ways you show up in different contexts, multiple different ways of expressing yourself, go for it, do it. I know it's scary and it feels wrong sometimes and strange, and it can feel like you're being manipulative, but in a lot of contexts, it's actually a greater intelligence moving through you. It's just who you are. It is what it is, right? And again, like we as humans, we just have so many judgments and limitations we put on ourselves about what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is beneficial, what is destructive, when it's so much more nuanced than just one way fits all. And I think that's also part of, again, like the wisdom of the Gemini archetype is that being able to hold duality. And so what someone might perceive as two-faced or manipulative or inconsistent, flaky, etc., can in its highest form or to another person actually come across as very adaptable, very multifaceted, very genius in a lot of ways. And so I don't know what this video, I just was thinking of this. And so if you resonate with this archetype, if you resonate with this, what I'm saying, then it's very empowering, and have confidence in yourself and your ability to do this. And who cares if you show up a certain way and people dislike it? If you're not hurting anybody and you're just moving through life in a way that feels natural and centered to you, then who cares? And especially too, if you're using this tool to navigate abusive people and you're using it to navigate people who are trying to manipulate you, then this can be an incredible tool. Yeah. I think that's it. It's just be strong. Be strong in it. Be confident in it. That's my little late night caffeinated message. Transmission complete. Okay. I love you lots. Take care. See you in the next one.